extreme right, on my extreme right, we have Engineer Sarath Saniratne, and next we have Dr. R.M.K. Ratnayaka, the co-author. We have Professor Upul Disanayaka next, and we have Professor Mohan De Silva and Mr. Zuhail. And in the center is the Minister, Lakshman Kiriyalla, whom we today welcome with very warm hearts. It is a pleasure to have you here, sir. Without taking much more time, I will now call upon the co-author, Mr. Zuhail, who was the ambassador to Kuwait some time back, and the co-author himself is Dr. Ratnayaka. He has been secretary of many ministries, had a hard time at times, had a good times. Earlier he told me it's not easy, but all of you together have given support to all of us to be here this evening. All of us have contributed to this university. All of us are contributing to the Alumni Association, and all of us should, I think, contribute also to Jennings Endowment Fund. Mr. Zuhail, it's your turn now.
When we started this venture and started working on it, long distance, Colombo to Peradeniya is a long way to go. Hours and hours we spent on the road, hours and hours we spent meeting people in the university and digging into some of the old photographs and write-ups, visiting the faculties and buildings and so on. It was so long story, but we never felt tired of it. We enjoyed doing that. So many hours, so many visits, taking pictures of the halls of residence, faculties and library buildings and so on and so forth. It was a lovely thing. So coming back to the story, in the early 1990s, a Ceylon University Association was formed by some of the educated elites of the country. That was all those people who were more Oxbridge people, Marcus Fernando, Arunachalam, Ramanathan, Jayatilaka, and all those people got involved in this education, wanted to upgrade the university college to a university proper. In the meantime, the colonial powers also recognized the need for a university and then decided that they should have a university. But in between there was the war, First World War, and then that delayed a little bit. Then after that, then decided to have the university, build the university. Where are you going to locate it? A lot of people wanted to have it in Colombo, just here, Reed Avenue. But some people wanted to be away from Colombo, preferably Kandy. So there was big debate, what do you call the battle of the sites. That was really intellectual battle. A lot of people fought for it to have it in Colombo. A lot of people, Swiss people wanted to have it away from Colombo. So the governor at that time appointed a committee called Akbar Committee. It was Justice Akbar, he was at that time Solicitor General, and he was appointed called the Akbar Committee. All the people who were there in that committee argued for and against. But Akbar and a few others wanted to have it far away from Colombo, that was Dumbara Valley. D.R. Vijayavardhana, who was the owner of Lake House at that time, really supported that. He really went all out to support that move to have it in Kandy. D.R. Vijayavardhana got his manager of the Lake House, gave him leave of absence, told him, go and canvass all over. So he did that. So with a greater difficulty, finally, they decided to have it in Kandy, Dumbara Valley, that was the present Peradeniya. So then it was presented to the Legislative Council by Akbar himself. He was a member, ex officio member, I think. Then it was passed. The moment it was passed and approved, I am cutting short the story, it's a long story. The moment it was passed, all those people who opposed also agreed and fully and supported that. They all went along with the move to build up the University of Peradeniya. Then comes, Ivor Jennings comes. At that time, Robert Mars was the principal of the University College. So Ivor Jennings comes and sets up as the principal of the Ceylon University College. He was a visionary, and then he wanted to have a proper university. In the meantime, government appointed an architect called Sir Abercrombie, brilliant architect, and one other partner of his. They went to the jungle, Peradeniya. It was a cast-out tea estate and neglected jungle. He planned a beautiful, conceptualized architectural design for the university. Then it was site engineer was Shirley D. Alvis. Surely always designed all those buildings, Arunachalam Hall, Ramanathan Hall, and Marcus Fernando Hall, and all those places, and the administrative buildings and so on. That is how we got this beautiful place. Then we went in there, 75 years, we thought we will do something about it. We went in there and we looked at all those buildings, all the halls of residence. We took photographs and wrote about the halls of residence. One page, not too long, one page about the halls, Arunachalam, Ramanathan, Marcus, all those places, and the photograph of the hall and photograph of the person, Arunachalam, named after Arunachalam, Ramanathan, Marcus, and all these people, Marcus Fernando, and so on. So we didn't want to have long stories. It's not a history document. It's not academic exercise. Brief story people can understand as a coffee table book. So the whole thing, all the halls of residence were written, all the faculties, all the places of religious worships, 2 churches, Hindu Kovil, Buddhist temple and mosque, and photographs and write-up, as I said. Then the library and so on. So in this process of finding all this, it was a very, very difficult thing. Some of them I couldn't find at all. We couldn't find at all details. So we tracked down Marcus Fernando's grandson somewhere here, and then tracked down and sent somebody to his house and took a photograph of Marcus Fernando. Then I found Mr. Arjun Dharniyagala, who was Hilda Obaisekara's grandson. Went and met him and found there was only one portrait about her in one of his relations' house. So we sent a photographer and got a photograph. These are very, very rare photographs you'll never find anywhere else. Then there was about Dr. Andreas Nell. There was nothing about him. So we got hold of National Archives. They managed to give me a small paper cutting. Daily News, about 2x3 paper cutting. So what we did was we took that, and then he was seated, and Oliver Gunathilaka and a few others were standing, took that small cutting and enlarged it. You will never find that anywhere else. So we did all those and then found these things and written about those people and so on. And about the places of religious worship, also we wrote all that. So that was a long work we had to do. And then, of course, some of the stories, how Sir Ivor Jennings, as he said, Sir Ivor Jennings, how he spent time. He had been there all the time. Every design was done by him. He had been there to plant even the trees. Every trees had been planted by him, supervised by him, nurtured by him. It was a great service given by Sir Ivor Jennings to this university. And then because of that only we thought we should name our fund as Sir Ivor Jennings Endowment Fund. There is another story to that. In his book, Sir Ivor Jennings' book, The Road to Peradeniya, he writes, "This is my small contribution. I have done something small. After 1,000 years, that is 2,950, he wrote this in 1950, after 1,000 years, 2,950, in the university calendar, in the list of benefactors, my name will be there as somebody who contributed to this." So his vision was for 1,000 years, not for 75 years or 100 years. In fact, we thought it was a mistake, 100 years. No, it is 1,000 years. His vision was for 1,000 years. So then what do? We should support, go towards that vision. We established this foundation called Sir Ivor Jennings Endowment Fund. All the sale proceeds will go to that fund. Nothing for me, nothing for us. We don't need money. No 10% or 1%, nothing. That money will go to that fund. That fund will be, it is already registered as under the trustees ordinance, and that will be transferred to Peradeniya very soon. It will be committee will be chaired by the Vice Chancellor, and the programs hopefully will be developed to student development. That is our focus. That's what it is. That will be functioning in the university, people. So I must say that a lot of people contributed to this, and also in the Peradeniya University. Then another thing, what important one aspect is, even the vegetation. Professor Botany, who wrote about the vegetation, even the plants and flowers had been selected by him, and some of the university flag, university logo, are depicting some of those flowers also. And then, being a European, being a white, being a colonial man, one would have expected him to put up something, Greek, Roman civilization and buildings of those designs. But what they had done was brought in all the Sri Lankan heritage. There's Anuradhapura there, there's Polnaruva there, there's Daldamalika over there, in the whole, all those buildings, all those pillars and buildings and halls of residence, everything is there. So that is the beauty of it, about him to have brought in all that. Now, why all this? What is the book? It's not a book actually. We are contributing to that Ivor Jennings Endowment Fund. Money will go to that fund. That will be utilized for the student development. That is the philosophy there. That's when the first, second, third page you will see towards creating a new generation. That's our vision. We want it to be towards creating a new generation in the future, improve them and support them. Then what else? This is a book, and also, as he said, 75 years, 75th year anniversary this time. So these also fall in line with that. Another thing is, now Sri Lanka Peradeniya University has been declared as the 10th most beautiful university in the world out of so many thousand universities. This book justifies that. All the beautiful buildings, halls of residence, everything is brought into that book. It's a lovely book. If you see that, you'll see that it's a nice book. So that is justifying that also. And also it is a worthwhile exercise. After 75 years, we try to do something and we have brought in this one. So I am sure it will be useful for anybody to have a look at it and see that and then use it.
Now is the moment that we have been all waiting for, the launch of this book. The book now will be handed over to the chief guest by Dr. Ratnayaka. Let's give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
This will be the book which gives the first impression of the university for our visitors. That is very, very important. For everything, the first impression is the one which is very valuable. So therefore, you have done a marvelous job for the university. Thank you once again. With reference to other universities, we can be happy because after 10 years, we have got the first position in the university ranking and we are in number 1 among Sri Lankan universities. But I have no hesitation to admit, in terms of in the international arena, we have to work hard. I won't say any negative words, but we have to work hard. That's what I want to say. But we don't want to bother about the present. Only we can recapitulate the history to learn lessons for the future. Identify the mistakes that we have made and then plan for the future. So this university should survive another 1,000 years. That was the vision of Sir Ivor Jennings. And at the same time, he wanted this university be one of the finest universities in the world. Though with those two missions, I must say we have a bigger responsibility. You and me have a bigger responsibility to take this university forward in a successful way. We all know in another 25 years' time, the university will reach the centennial year, 100 years of the life of the university. So we, as the people, as alumni of this university, and as the Vice Chancellor as present, and as the Minister as the current Minister as well as the Chairman of UGC, we all have a big responsibility for this. We must understand this is a national heritage.
The University of Peradeniya was established at a location that touches the lower slopes of the lush Hantana mountain range, again famous for its natural beauty, with the giant river Mahavali flowing through. Undoubtedly, an excellent environment for higher learning. Today, University of Peradeniya is the largest residential higher learning facility in the country. The university, as we all heard, has educated a very notable alumni, renowned philosophers, free thinkers, global administrators, and great scientists who are globally recognized for their contribution during a very short period of 75 years. And today, University of Peradeniya is a global brand name. With its cool climate and scenic beauty, with the giant river Mahavali as a jewel, it is also the most beautiful university in Sri Lanka.
I must say it's a wonderful book, particularly for those who are from Kandy. I would say It's an ideal coffee table book to present to various people when they come from abroad. I think this is the first time a book of this nature has been printed, particularly about the University of Peradeniya, which I would say is, for those of us in Kandy, the jewel in the crown. So once again, a big thank you to both of them, and I hope you will have success in selling the book as well.
Knowledge Box, the value-based media network.